Hello everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Bienvenidos. Espero que todos estén muy bien. In this video, we are going to continue our study of the imperfect verb tense. So this mainly is an instructional video. For the introduction to the imperfect and some practice, be sure to watch the previous video, the imperfect verb tense part 1. You can find it on my channel homepage. You can also find all of my Spanish videos on a playlist. So let's continue with the imperfect verb tense. We are just going to look at the other uses that we didn't talk about in the last video. Remember that the main use of the imperfect is to talk about habitual actions in the past. Remember, actions that occurred repeatedly over a period of time, and remember that we're not concerned with when the action started or when the action ended. We're just concerned with the fact that it happened over and over again at a time period in the past. Now, what this translates to in English is we always say used to. For example, I used to fly a kite. I used to go to the mall. I used to eat pizza. In other words, we did that thing over and over again. So you can think of the imperfect verb tense as the used to do verb tense. The imperfect is also used to talk about something that was happening, that an activity or action that was in progress at a particular moment in the past. For example, if you want to say something like, well, I was studying when the telephone rang. So that I was studying, that would be in the imperfect as well. And so what we're going to do now is just look at the other uses of the imperfect. Remember that you can't avoid it. You have to memorize the endings for AR, ER, and IR verbs in the preterite. ER and IR endings are identical, so you just have to basically learn 2 sets of endings. Now, once you know your endings, you can go through the simple 3-step process of conjugating the verb. Remember, you start with your infinitive, step 1, remove the AR, ER, or IR, and then you find your root or your stem. It's also referred to as the stem. So the stem or the root is the same thing. In the next step, final step, you just add your ending according to the subject that you're using, and that gives you the conjugated verb. See my other video for practice doing this. The first video has some practice exercises doing this. Okay, so now let's talk about the other uses. So the imperfect verb tense, in addition to what we talked about before, the imperfect verb tense is used to talk about periods of life in the past. So, for example, when you were a certain age, let's say when you were 10, that's a period of life, and you can talk about it. When you do that, you have to use the imperfect verb tense. Childhood also is considered a period of life in the past. So when you want to say something like, when I was a child, you have a choice here. For I was, you can put it in the preterite and the imperfect. Well, because being a child was a period in your life, and in a sense that period kept repeating every day for a larger amount of time, you have to use the imperfect. So you would have to use ser niño to be a child, or niña. And when I conjugate it, it looks like this. Cuando yo era niño, when I was a child, or if for females, cuando yo era niña. The other example was being a certain age. When I was 8 years old, we use tener años for age. For example, if I want to say I am 8 years old, I say yo tengo 8 años. But if you want to talk about that period of your life when you were 8 years old, you have to put the verb in the imperfect. Cuando tenía 8 años. The other use of the imperfect is to talk about moods, conditions, or states of being in the past. Think about how you talk about how you feel at the particular moment. For example, if you want to say, I'm tired, estoy cansado or cansada. I'm angry, estoy enojado or enojada. When you talk about that mood or that condition or that state of being in the past, we have to use the imperfect. So, for example, estoy contento or estoy contenta in the present tense comes out to be what in the past? Well, just conjugate this in the imperfect and you've got it. Estaba contento, I was happy. Estaba contenta, I was happy. I was sad. We get a little bit of practice here. How would you say I was sad? Remember, I am sad is estoy triste, so put it in the imperfect. Estaba triste. Estaba triste. I was tired. ¿Cómo se dice I was tired? Estaba cansado o cansada. She was ready. Ella estaba lista. Estaba lista. He was angry. Él estaba enojado. They were sick. Ellas estaban enfermas. O ellos estaban enfermos. Okay, well that's it for the other uses of the imperfect verb tense. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.